All right, so the first one on the second shelf is Batman the movie. This is the 1966. It features Adam West and Burt Ward as the dynamic duo. Really campy, really cheesy, but it's still entertaining nevertheless. Next up, we have Tim Burton's Batman. Really cool, kind of brought it into the dark, gothic type of Batman. It really became the model for what Batman movies would become for the most part, especially with Batman Returns, which is really, really, really dark and weird and very Tim Burton. I really like this one, and it's funny because I seen this one a lot more as a kid than I seen the original because I owned this one on VHS. And I used to watch it so much that I think I wore the tape out. Uh, really enjoy that one. Then we have the Joel Schumacher Batmans. This one I actually do not mind for the most part. It has what do you call it? Who you call it rather, I should say. Jim Carrey as the Riddler, Tommy Lee Jones as Two Face. I didn't mind. I didn't mind that movie, although you could tell it was really getting goofy. And then we got Batman and Robin, by far the best comedy, the best unintentional comedy ever made. This obviously has Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. So many awful one-liners in that one. It's so amazing. However, definitely got to check it out. Uh, really let your curiosity dictate what you do with that film because it's really, really stupid in all the right ways. Then we have the Nolan Trilogy. We have, of course, they almost killed the franchise with Batman and Robin, so they had to come out. Nolan rather had to come out with Batman Begins, and it was a great film. Not only was it a great Batman film, it was just a great film in general. But really, what it really notched it up quite a bit with The Dark Knight, especially with Heath Ledger's portrayal as the Joker. Sadly, he passed away before this film was released. Thankfully, however, he did all of his parts for the film. He completed everything for the film. So they had no issues there. Although it would have been nice to see if what they could have done with this one here, if Heath Ledger was still alive. This is The Dark Knight Rises. This has Bane, uh, and it was pretty cool. But I think having the Joker again, possibly for the Dark Knight Rises, in some capacity, would have been pretty neat. Sadly, we'll never be able to see that. Then if we go into live action Superman films, so we have two here. We have the complete motion picture anthology. This is Superman 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Superman Returns. And then we also have the Zack Snyder Man of Steel. This is the 3D lenticular slipcover. I don't know if it's really coming off there. I didn't mind this one. A lot of fans didn't like this one for whatever reason. I personally didn't mind it. Now, to be fair, I'm not a huge Superman fan, so maybe that has a lot to do with it. I really enjoyed it, though. I think I enjoy the movies enough to watch them. I'm not a huge fanboy when it comes to a lot of these superhero things. So when there's some inconsistencies, I don't really notice them as much. So that's it for the live action DC films. Now we go into animated feature films, and we start off with two DVDs. Unfortunately, neither of these have a Blu-ray release. We have Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, arguably one of the best Batman films ever made as far as animation is concerned. Then we have Batman and Mr. Freeze, Sub-Zero. Then we start getting Blu-ray releases with Batman Beyond: The Return of the Joker and Batman Mystery of the Batwoman. And finally, we got another DVD here. I don't believe this had a Blu-ray release. This is Batman versus Dracula. All of them are pretty good for the most part if you're a Batman fan. It's neat to kind of see different takes of the character. But if you're going to check out one of these, definitely check out Mask of the Phantasm. You will not be disappointed. And I do believe this was actually released in theater. Unfortunately, it bombed pretty hard in the theater because to be fair, it was an animated Batman. It wasn't the live action that people were expecting. So, unfortunately, people kind of slagged it off a little bit because of that. When the Dark Knight came out or was about to be released. They released this film. This is like kind of like a multi-part like anthology kind of take on Batman. Basically, it's different perspectives from like different villains and whatnot of Batman. Really cool. Then we have Batman Under the Red Hood, also a great film. Really cool slipcover, by the way. And then Batman Year One, really neat. Then we have two more here. We have one of, and actually the main reason I got into DC animated films, Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, a great film. And if you kind of want to get a little bit of what Batman versus Superman is about, check out this film. You will not be disappointed. And if you're a fan of the Batman Arkham games, you will love this one. This is Batman Assault on Arkham. For the movie Suicide Squad, check out this one. You'll get a bit of an insight on what Suicide Squad is before the movie comes out. So yeah, both of these are actually, funny enough, are somewhat tied in a few ways anyway to the upcoming new DC live-action cinematic universe. We have Son of Batman, not my favorite Batman film. Batman versus Robin, a sequel to that one. Both great covers, by the way, but I didn't. They were decent enough. I mean, I am a Batman fan. I'll watch pretty much anything, but they weren't the greatest. Then we have Superman Doomsday. I haven't actually took this out of the seal yet because I haven't watched it yet. I hear great things about it though, so I want to check that out. Then we have Superman Batman Public Enemies. I've seen this one. This is actually pretty good. And then we have Superman Batman Apocalypse, also a pretty good film. One thing you'll notice with a lot of these DC animated films, sadly I don't have one for this one or this one, is that they all have really snazzy slipcovers, and if you can get them with them, that's a pretty sweet deal. Okay, we have a bunch here. We're not done with the animated series yet. We have Superman, Shazam, The Return of Black Adam. I want to say this has multiple short films. This was a short film, and they released all four like short films on one Blu-ray. That's the one where you can get that one, I think. And then we have All-Star Superman. Never seen that one yet. I will. A lot of these Superman ones I haven't watched yet. I basically got them all for fairly cheap on an Amazon sale, so I kind of just wanted to get them all. So yeah, so that's Superman versus the Elite, Superman Unbound, and then Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. I actually watched this one. This was pretty cool. Pretty neat concept. Another Justice League film. We have Justice League: The New Frontier. Also a pretty decent film. Actually, all these Justice League films have been fairly decent. This is Justice League Doom, the Flashpoint Paradox. Really interesting film, actually. It's like, it basically almost gives you like an alternate reality, like what would happen if Batman was allowed to kill, and things like that. Or if he kind of went down that path. Then we have Justice League War, and then a newest edition. Haven't watched it yet. Justice League Throne of Atlantis. There's a few of them I'm missing. The Green Lantern are a few of them missing, and then there was a few new Justice League films I haven't got yet. I'll probably get those when the new Batman films come out rather. We have Wonder Woman, and then finally to finish off the DC shelf, we have Necessary Evil: Supervillains of DC Comics, a neat little documentary that kind of talks a little bit about all the various villains in the DC universe. And I will say, of not to sort of fanboy wars or whatever, but between Marvel and DC, I always say DC has the better villains, in my personal opinion. The more interesting villains, I should say. So anyways, that's basically it for this video. We'll go on to the next one,